Hey, I'm Dimitri, and welcome to the show.
This is Burnt Popcorn Gaming.
Yeah!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Burnt Popcorn Gaming, and today we have a story, so you might as well get your popcorn, get your pop, as I have right here. That's root beer, not sponsored, but anyways, it's freaking story time, so here we go. This is the story of Warframe. It all started in the Orcan era. Long before all of this, like, where the game stands right now, there was a race called the Orcan, right? They were the dominant, like, race at that time, and they conquered the galaxy that they're in and created large outposts and found these things on Earth, right? So they, like, experimented with them and made like a race of synthetic beings, which are like known as the sentient, and from this point the old war erupted, which is basically the sentient saying that they're better than the Orcan, and yeah, so that erupted into the war, and the Orcan had nothing to fight back against the Sentinels because the Sentient were like had like enough power to overpower, but they had enough power to like overcome the Orcan because all this technology that the Sentient has was from the Orcan, so they could use that against them. And so the Orcan quickly discovered that their method of fighting proved ineffective against the faction. Faced with losing the war, the Orcan intended to create something that they could replicate and fight in an autonomous way, like the Sentinels did. So what they did, they created the Infestation. Now the Infestation is like zombies mode on like a Call of Duty. So like this is some crazy stuff. Like it's just freaking a whole bunch of. Anyway, so the reason they created this because it would like spread fast and it would create like a large army over time. But they found that it kind of had a mind of its own, so they couldn't control it. And then they also figured out that the Infestation had like no effect on the Sentient, so they just had a whole bunch of raging barbaric infestation around Earth and like everywhere, and they had nothing to do with it. So the Orcan, desperate because they're losing the war by a lot at this point, they exploited this void energy after an incident aboard a spacecraft called the Zerman 10-0 led to a number of children developing void powers and abilities. So this space crash or the space incident that happened, they were in the void at the time, so like the children got like exposed to the void and they got all these cool superpowers and stuff, like so it'd be like Excalibur and like their powers. So that's what they got. Now since the Orcan were, I don't know, kind of desperate to win this war, they created them and made them like weaponized, and they gave them swords and guns and all that good stuff. And the Warframes were like a equal technology to the Sentinels, and like this was bad because but like anyways, the first actual Warframe that was ever created by the Orcan were the Excalibur, was the Excalibur, and so after that, the war kind of changed sides and became like a stalemate, and the Orcan kind of pushed back, and then the other guys would push back, and like eventually the Sentient were actually almost defeated, but not quite. But they launched this last agent, which was called the Nata. The Nata was a last-ditch Sentient who had been created with the sole purpose to take control of the Ten of themselves. Like, yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory. So that's part one of part like 3 parts or something like that.